two that we saw, first five and full game, and it was both favorites. New York Giants, first five in full game, and then Cincinnati Reds, also first five full game. Those are two that stuck out the most because, like I said, first five and full game, money line, laid some chalk on both, and multiple groups bet both those sides. So those are the bigger favorites that stuck out. Real quickly, a couple underdogs that I did see sharp money on. It was the Angels at plus 125, Baltimore at plus 140, plus 135, and Toronto at plus 130, plus 125. So Angels, Baltimore, Toronto were the only dogs. Cincinnati and San Francisco were the favorites that got the most money bet on them so far from different groups. The main event. Oh. I really do think that one interests me the most. The main event and co-main event. Here's why, real quickly. In the co-main event, you have Juliana Pena, who's going in as the champ. And she'll be the second biggest underdog as champ. The biggest underdog in UFC history was GSP against Matt Serra in the rematch. After Matt Serra beat GSP, won the title, and it was not supposed to happen. And then Sarah went in as a huge dog against GSP. This is the second biggest dog as a champ going in. And Kayla Harrison, this is only her third UFC fight. And when you look at Pena, her strength of schedule, she's fought a who's who as far as the UFC goes. As far as experience at higher level fights, you got to give that to Pena. More importantly, if you look at the history of champs that go in with as the dog, the betting underdog, when that door closes, bro, you look over the last 20 times that happened, it's almost 70% of the time the champ actually wins. That big dog actually gets the money and wins the fight. It's usually more the narrative than anything else. And, the price just hasn't been warranted. Now, again, I'm not saying go out there and bet Juliana Pena. She's a lock, but I don't see where it's justified that Harrison should be this big of a favorite at this weight class. Bro, she's got to cut 20 plus pounds compared to what she's used to fighting at. So, I mean, if Pena could extend this into the third round, fourth round, this could get really interesting to see what Harrison has if that gas tank starts, because Pena could take the one thing that girl is she's tough and she'll wear it on her face, but she will go 5 rounds and stand toe to toe. She's as tough as nails. So that fight interests me. I think Harrison's a little bit overvalued. And then in the main event, listen, we just saw this fight not all that long ago, and I get it. Merab should be favored after what he did. He dominated Sean and outstruck him in every round, landed a takedown in 4 or 5 rounds. I get it. But that closing line still was a coin flip in that first fight. And even though Merab's stock should go a lot higher after beating Sean like that, it's the next fight also where his stock really went up. Because another situation where the champ went in as the dog. Merab, after beating O'Malley, went into the Umar fight as the underdog, a big underdog. And there's another, spot where the champ with the belt ended up winning the fight as the big dog. So I get it. His stock should rise. But where it sits right now, I don't think there's any value in betting Merab at all. I think you had a big window of opportunity to make a ton of money on an undervalued fighter. But eventually, like all markets, they correct themselves when they're efficient. And that's what we're looking at right now, where Merab's just such a huge favorite over O'Malley. Now, should he be able to take him down and control him like he did easily last time around? Probably. But what is he going to change up? Like when you pitch the perfect game, what are you really going to change up? You're going to go in there and want to do the exact same thing over again. It's O'Malley on the flip side that I think has the advantage there. He's got a lot to work on, that's for sure. And having not smoked weed anymore, no more social media, like you're hearing all the right things. And usually you'd be paying a premium for that. And it's noise. You can't really quantify it. So I would look to take advantage of it. Like, what does that mean? Who cares? But in this situation, I just don't think that's the way it's playing out. I just think that Merab's too big of a favorite at minus 300, where he's got to win the fight 3 out of 4 times just to break even. And I think there's some value on that dog as well. Again, when you're taking plus 200s, plus 400s, plus 500s, you got to be prepared to throw that ticket away. Like when you're taking a plus 400, you're going to throw that ticket away, 3 out of 4 times, even when you're running hot. you'll have an edge, but you'll still toss it out 3 out of 4 times. Like, most people aren't comfortable doing that. So I get it. I'm okay with that. I don't mind if I believe I'm getting the best of it. And I just think these are 2 favorites that are way overpriced. Again, probably should win the fights. Minus 300s, minus 600s usually do. But I just don't think either of those prices are warranted. Those jumped out at me immediately.
If you just go to WagerTalk.com and go to the free plays page, these are going to be where you can find these so you see more detailed write-ups. So go to UFC, Brenson Ribeiro and Mirzakhanov under 1.5 rounds. Mirzakhanov, 5 out of last 6 wins by KO. Ribeiro, 3 out of his last 4 losses have been first-round KOs. Another free play from Jeff Michaels. Pirates money line against the Astros. Astros 1-10 on the road after a win, averaging only 2.27 runs. McCullers 5.89 ERA. And then we got a comment. Andy, can you do a team total? Yeah, of course I can do a team total. This one's gross. I'm not proud of this one, but I do love the play. We're going to do the Colorado Rockies over 3.5 on the team total. I know it's the Colorado Rockies, but listen, they scored 6 yesterday, and they get a beautiful matchup. Sandy Alcantara allowed 4+ earned runs in 6 straight games. His good stuff is completely gone. And the Rockies have been so bad on the road, maybe they're regressing back up. So they scored 6 yesterday. They get a dream matchup. So let's roll with the Colorado Rockies over 3.5 on the team total here.
I think it'll be a good series. A lot of people are not so happy with, the 2 teams that we have here, but the style of play is very fun to watch. It should, make for some high-scoring games, up-tempo, high-scoring games. But I'll start off and say I'm not sure that happens. I'm not sure it happens in the first one out the gate. I mean, we do have an OKC team that's had a week off. Pacers also have, I think, 4 days off. You could always come out the gate and see that rest for both of these teams. Also, Thunder, #1 defensive team, as much pace, as good of an offensive team as the Thunder are, as the Pacers are, the Thunder can still slow them down. So I looked at NBA Finals over the past 20 years. The first half specifically is 60% to the under. 18-4 over the last 24 finals games. And if you look at the first 4 games, it's even higher, like a little bit above 63%. So I could very well see the start of this series be a little bit slower than everybody expects. I know the market has already pushed it up from 229.5 to 231, but that's first half specifically, I think, is an under. So that's my initial thought in this game.
Any props that you're looking at? Series props, game 1 props, anything jump off the page for you?
Well, I'm still going to think a little bit more about props. But what I will say is there's a couple guys I would expect to have success. I think the bigs for OKC could really take advantage here. Maybe you look at Chet on the rebounds, Chet on double-double. I think he's a guy who's a mismatch problem and sees a lot of minutes and should get those rebounds. So Pacers, not the best rebounding team. That's kind of a guy I'm looking at. SGA, I felt in this, when you bet the first game, a lot of it is how you expect the game to go matchup-wise. Like, my thought would be the Pacers try their best to get the ball out of his hands. His assist prop was 6.5. I'm pretty sure he's had 8 both times he's played the Pacers. Especially at home where the role players shoot a little better. I can see him dishing it to some of those guys, knocking down some threes and getting him to his assist prop. So whether it's Chet, double-double, Chet rebounds, SGA assists, those are guys that I'm looking towards as far as props.
Talk about teams going in the wrong direction here, Ski. The Wings 1 win this season against lowly Connecticut. The Storm 3 straight losses. How do you break this game down tonight?
Yeah, this one is already moving. 8.5 to 10.5 on the Storm. And I have to agree. I don't think I think you might have to pay a premium to fade the Wings in this situation is kind of what I'm looking at. But I still think the Storm can do it. This Wings team just has too much wrong going on. We'll start off and say they're missing 2-point guards, Paige Beckers, Ty Harris. Now you're relying on Arike, who she doesn't want to pass the ball. All she want to do is jack up shots. It's been that way for years. You see all the great players who've left her are so happy to be somewhere else and being successful. Like, she's a scorer, but she's not a great point guard and playmaker. Carrington was forced to try to play make in the last game, and even the coach said it forced things to be a little bit clunky. So for Dallas, I just don't really like anything going on. They even asked the coach, what can they do better, to get on the same track? And he says, we just have to kind of try to start liking each other in the locker room. Like it's not good vibes over there in Dallas. Enrique went out, and I think they should get her out. On the Storm side, this is a team that has high expectations. They've won 3 straight, and now they've lost 3 straight. So that's just a situation where you're extremely motivated. It's also, when we have June here, it's the Commissioner's Cup. These games matter a lot for point differential. So the Storm defense can really smother this Dallas team with no point guards. The Wings defense is absolutely terrible. They've been terrible for years, haven't gotten any better. And they just lost to the Sky. The Sky, who can't beat anybody. They lost to them by 11. So double digits for the Storm at home, not a big ask.
I think this is Edmonton's year to win the series. We saw Florida 2 years ago make the Stanley Cup and lose in the finals to Vegas. Now, that last year we saw Edmonton make the Stanley Cup, lose the finals to Florida. The time Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup, they got to the finals the year before. When Vegas won the Stanley Cup, they had been to the finals the year before. This just reeks of Edmonton. And it's Connor's time now, from my perspective. I don't think this Florida team is as good as last year's Florida team. I think this Florida team had a much easier path to the Stanley Cup Finals than this Edmonton team. Edmonton played the LA Kings, number 2 defensive team in all of hockey. Then they played Vegas, number 3 defensive team in all of hockey. Then they played Dallas, number 5 defensive team in all of hockey. They averaged 4 goals a game. They basically played the best defensive teams in all of hockey. They averaged 4 goals a game. What, is Florida all of a sudden going to stop them? No. You have a Florida team that is a defensive juggernaut, just like those other teams. They are impossible to score against, but Florida struggles to score themselves. So I think when you're looking at totals, I think we're going to see more games go under than over. And the reason I think Edmonton is going to win the series is it's going to be low scoring, but we know that Edmonton is going to get their goals. If Edmonton can average 3 goals a game, they win the series. Edmonton's already averaged 4 goals a game against 3 teams that have better defenses than Florida. So I think from a series perspective, Edmonton is the way to go. With that said, instead of taking Edmonton at minus 120, take Connor McDavid to win the Conn Smythe at plus 110. That is a much better bet. There is no world that I could see where Edmonton wins this series and Connor doesn't win the MVP. But last year, Florida did not win the series. Florida won the series and Connor still won the MVP. So there is a pathway for Connor to win the MVP and not win the cup. And we know if he wins the cup, he's getting the MVP. So the absolute single best bet in this series, period, is Connor McDavid, Conn Smythe, trophy winner, plus 110.
No, can you make a case for this poor athletics team right now? How do you break down Twins and athletics?
They're so bad, Andy Lang, that nobody wants to be the starting pitcher tonight. That's how bad they are.
They don't even have a pitcher listed.
Undecided. They don't even have a pitcher. They don't have a city. They don't have a pitcher.
Oh.
I'm going to get my soapbox real quick. This is my hot take for Tuesday, WagerTalk Today. It's ridiculous that they're not the Sacramento A's. This isn't like a 2-month stint in Sacramento. It's not even a 1-year stint. It's not even a 2-year stint. It's a minimum 3-year stint. And I say minimum because opening day is supposed to be April 2028 in Las Vegas. But when I last checked a year ago, and I haven't checked since, the Vegas guys can give us a better update, but they had the entire Tropicana surrounded with saran wrap because of asbestos, and it delayed the opening. So how do you not give them the courtesy of being the Sacramento A's for at least the next 3+ seasons? Maybe I'm a little more sensitive because my Washington Redskins became the football team for 2 years and then the Commanders, so I'm a little more sensitive in my older age about naming. But anyway, it's the Sacramento A's. Their starting pitcher is undecided. Minnesota's going with Lopez, who's having a pretty good season. And Oakland has struggled. Oakland, whatever. I'm calling them Oakland until they're Vegas. The A's have struggled against Lopez, at least the current lineup. With that said, though, over is the only way I would play this game. It's the highest total on the board tonight at 10 to the over. It opened 9.5. It's been bumped up higher. We always look to play the highest totals over in any sport, and I think this one makes sense. The A's bullpen is much weaker this year. They started last season in decent current form. They actually surprised a little bit. And the reason was because their bullpen was tremendously good last year, the first few months of the season. The ERA below 3 at one point. Their ERA is almost 7 this season. It's a hitter-friendly park. It's going to be hot, humid, wind blowing out tonight. I think over 10 makes some sense regardless of who the A's starter is. And once again, I talked about the current form. Oakland has been and once again, I'm going to keep calling them Oakland until they get a city. They've been a pure overplay here. Not only have they gone over in 5 straight, but they've gone over 6 of their last 7. And keep in mind, every one of those games was on the road. It wasn't even in hitter-friendly Sacramento, Sutter Field or whatever it's called, until last night, in which they gave up 10 runs, 14 runs total. They've had the last 5 games alone, those 5 overs, 12, 18, 15, 12, and 14 total runs. Doesn't matter who's starting for Oakland tonight or Sacramento or whatever they're called. I like this game over the 10 runs. Good game. We go from a bottom feeder to best game of the night. This was a national TV game last night. It lived up to the hype, went 10 innings. Mets took it 4-3 in extra innings last night. Now we've got McGill against Kershaw, and I want to dive into Kershaw a little bit. This is only his 4th start of the season. He was not in the rotation until about 3 weeks ago. He's made 3 starts since mid-May. First outing was not good against Anaheim, against the Angels, whatever city they're in now. So you can tell I've been doing this for decades, calling them Oakland, calling them the Redskins, calling them the Anaheim Angels. But nonetheless, Kershaw struggled back on May 17th in that first start. He gave up 5 runs in just 4 innings, 3 walks and only 2 strikeouts. On the surface, it looks like he's pitched a little bit better the last 2 starts because he's gone 7 innings and only given up 1 earned run. However, if you dig deeper, I think something's not right. Kershaw's always been a power pitcher over the years. And look at his strikeouts. In 11 innings, 3 starts, he has 6 strikeouts, 6 walks. Even those last 2 starts, and he's given up only 1 run in 7 innings, only 6 hits, he has only 4 strikeouts, and he still has 3 walks. I'm not ready to buy into Kershaw. Definitely not looking to lay $1.40 with him, although I do think it's a decent bounce-back spot for the Dodgers off back-to-back losses to the Yankees and Mets. I'd prefer to look at the total in this one. Opening line was 9. It's been bumped up to 9 over. But if you look at some of the sharper books out there, Pinnacle, Bet Online, Bookmaker is about to. Pinnacle and Bet Online is going to 9.5, lesser juice. Others are sitting 9 over. So I would still lock in at the 9 over minus 120. I think this line will be 9.5 in more spots when first pitch happens at 10 o'clock Eastern tonight. 2 potent offenses, right? It's easy to make a case for the over with these 2 offenses. And if Kershaw's not quite there, which I'm not sure he is, I think there's some runs. And this is a very reasonable total. 9's a key number, though. I like 9 over minus 120 tonight between the Dodgers and Mets.
Love it, Steve Merrill. It's $5 Tuesday. Surely you have something up. Tell everyone what you have. And tell us about some videos. We're kind of closing down on the end of the season. You always have videos up. What do you have up on the YouTube channel?
Andy, I told you last week, stop calling me Shirley. But yes, it is $5 Tuesday. And it is, of course, $5 Abe Lincoln Day. And that's a great deal. You get my top baseball best bet tonight for just $5. That's an instant 80% discount. It's normally $25 a play. But as nice as $5 Tuesday is, I have an even better offer, which also expires tonight at midnight. And that is a 30-day baseball special for less than $5 a day for everything. And I average 1 to 3 best bets per day, which means it's going to work out to about $2 to $3 per play for the next month. You got to use promo code PITCH30, though. It's on my homepage, full details. 30-day baseball package, get it down to just $149. That's less than $5 a day with promo code PITCH30. Also, check out the daily free plays. My last cut goes up as a free play every day on my page. And also, don't forget, my NBA playoff Game 1 Finals video will be up later tonight on Tuesday. We're going to record it this afternoon, nice, early, and in advance for you. I've done every NBA playoff game every day this postseason, and I'll continue to do so through the NBA Finals. So check out Game 1 Thunder Pacers as well. Full breakdown here on WagerTalk TV later tonight. Now, yet another reason to click subscribe and click that bell for an instant alert so you never miss out on these free play videos right here on WagerTalk TV.